In celebration of International Women's Day and Women's History Month, let's talk about Elizabeth Russell, the Duchess of Cleveland. Last week, I had the honour of visiting Raby Castle in County Durham, and whilst I was there, the castle curator, Julie Biddlecombe-Brown, shared this fascinating story with me, and in turn, I would like to share it with you. This room, which is now the Barons Hall, was once a museum of natural history. It was a museum of natural history under Elizabeth Russell, who was the second wife of the first Duke of Cleveland. She was described as an indefatigable collectress. It's said that she stuffed everything from the common swan to even a polar bear. So many of the animals that she collected can still be found at Raby today, but many of them, including the polar bear, have gone walkabout sometime in the intervening 200 years of history. But this story fascinates me, not just because it's amazing to think of just how many different faces this castle has had in its 700 years of history, but because it showcases the story and unconventional interests of a woman who otherwise could be all too easily skimmed over in the history books. Women's history isn't just about the history of the women we've all heard of, Boudica, Cleopatra, Elizabeth I. It's the history of the women that we don't know and may never ever hear about. Elizabeth Russell was the Duchess of Cleveland, and so her story and her name have been preserved. But her passion for taxidermy goes quite starkly against the stereotypical image of the Regency woman that we're familiar with, caught up in gossip, scandals, and the politics of pretty dresses in a very Bridgerton-like fashion. Women throughout history existed very much outside of the world predetermined for them by men, even if, all too often, they have only been preserved to us in the snippets of them shown to us in this patriarchal sphere. And that is what Women's History Month is all about, for me, anyway.